leader, minister, doctor, if you didn't hear me say that, but also has been able to serve more than 15,000 clients in 36 different countries, right?
44 now.
44 now. Wow. We have someone here that has the heart to reach out to the one, just like what we heard earlier today. Starting 11 years ago, she has made this one of her amazing passions and is such a great example for all of us. So please help me welcome Dr. Sharnael to the stage.
This is hard. Yeah. Yes.
Awesome. Test it for like a day or so. Breathe in my oils. Where do I start? First of all, I want to know who has ever even heard me before. Is there anybody who's like a repeat? Okay, who's never heard me ever? Holy moly!
Oh, wow.
This is gonna be fun. Awesome. Okay, so a little bit about my background. He's shared a little bit. My background is actually ministry. I'm still in ministry. I mean, really? That's what this is? Right? So, but my audience has changed a little bit. You know, before I was in conferences having to do like retreats and women and, you know, big speakers, guys and girls. We would do these like prophetic conferences and, you know, church conferences and retreats and stuff. And I found out, you know, that traveling every single weekend, sometimes 4 to 5 days a week, 3 to 4 or 5 days a week, and getting on 6 planes a week, and eating airplane food, especially 11, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, which mostly my diet was Doritos, Rice Krispie bars, and Coca-Cola at the time. That is not a good idea to do that for years. Just giving you a heads up in case you're thinking about it. So I found myself in a lot of different opportunities to shift, right? And I had went to the western side. No, nothing against the western side of medicine, but as a minister, you know, and the way I grew up, that's what you do. You have aspirin and cough medicine, and you do things, and you go to the doctor if you don't feel good. My issue was I had went to numerous doctors, and it had kind of become almost like a full-time-ish, part-time job because I was on over 30 different meds, and I had to have like a mental chart, like a written thing to be like, you take this with water, and this with food, and this has to be in the morning, and that's got to be in the afternoon, and blah, 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 don't take these two together for goodness sakes. And I had a small carry-on that was literally just my medicine. And so I would have to travel doing that in between McDonald's and whatever. I remember being pregnant and, you know, when you're picked up by whoever church, whatever, nothing against the church necessarily, but whoever was hosting whatever, and they want to run you through the drive-thru, and you've got a baby, and you're like, maybe I don't want to eat Burger King or whatever, you know, so anyway, I was about 200, had gotten myself up to about 220 in weight. And again, had a lot of different symptoms that were going on, a lot of signals, and it wasn't helping. Like, no matter who I saw or whatever, I just kind of like given up, to be honest. I was just like, this is not gonna, like, nobody can help me, because I had been to all the people. And I happened to be teaching at a church retreat in Mississippi. It was actually a conference, and this lady starts telling me about this guy named Dr. Lucky, and she's like, you know, she saw me popping on my pills and stuff, and she's like trying to throw oils on me, and I'm just like, get away from me, you weirdo witch. And she's literally, I swear, like, not the best approach, in case, you know, like to this day, I'm like, please. I don't think she's a witch anymore, but it freaked me out because it was foreign, especially 11 years ago. Now we can get our oils at the gas station, as you know. Not the real oils, but we can it's trending now, right? I mean, everybody is doing it, so it's not a big deal. But back then, that was scary, at least for me. And no one had ever talked to me about essential oils. Now, The only oils that I did have were like to anoint people in the prayer lines or something. And I promise you they weren't good for you in any way. But, you know, so people would give me those and I would like use them for deodorant or something, just, you know, in between flights when you're a little stinky because it's been a 40-hour ride or something. But, so that's kind of what started my journey is I did go see this guy, Dr. Lucky, and he has like a gazillion machines from Russia and China and all the places, and he had a thing where you could test to see, and he starts explaining to me that trauma, that most dis-ease comes from like trauma-related things that are connected in our body, and that you can test to see how many traumas are stored, and usually they go in different body parts, like depending on whatever the situation is. We never kind of know exactly, but your limbic system, this is your frontal lobe, behind that is your limbic system. We're going to go a lot more into it, but when he tested me, he found 29 different traumas lodged in my body. And I didn't know how many were dormant or how many were active. But I was feeling pretty crappy. And I was like, if all of these are not active and I'm already feeling crappy, then I'm scared. And so he starts talking to me about the limbic system and essential oils and neuroscience and quantum physics, and I had studied all of this because I'm a big nerd. You think Jared's a nerd? I am like nerd. Science. When David Little was up here going into the soil and all that, I was like, you know, drools coming out. I'm like, keep talking science, do all the science, you know, because it's just the way I'm made. I love like figuring out all that stuff. But so when he says 29 traumas, he starts talking about the olfactory system and the limbic system. And how when you know, he's like, you know, I think you should get these oils. He was not even a distributor, but he had just known the science, and he's an MD, medical doctor. And he's like, hey, you know, sniff this oil, you're going to be better. That sounds really like it's going to happen. But what happens is it goes past the olfactory system, goes right into the limbic system, and it starts telling the limbic system to dump all that junk out. And all the assignments to whatever it's connected to. And so we're going to talk about how we can move into a better state of wholeness, and how we can say goodbye to all the dumb things that have happened to us in the past. See, because your DNA is basically just information. Mm-hmm. It's just packages of information. And when we have these memories, the memories are held in the body parts and in the DNA, which is in your blood and in your whole body. What happens is that information goes out into your biofield. Your biofield is called a bio because it's both radiating out and also magnetizing back in. So it's a dual thing. Bio, too, goes out and also collects and magnetizes in. So if you have trauma-related issues, most people will have a continuing pattern of the same trauma over and over and over because you're collecting more to reinforce the trauma, to make you right. Does that make sense?
Wow.
So what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about today is how we can go into changing the epigenetics with oils and whatever, all the supplements, all the things, and so we can get back into the wholeness, because when there's, when we have the DNA that we were born to have, when we have God DNA, guess what? That goes out into the biofield too. Mm-hmm. And when that goes into the biofield, you start collecting God things, and you start seeing God patterns and synchronicities and miracles. I have a whole book that I'm going to be talking about tonight or today called The Science of Miracles. It's called, and then the under part of that is remembering the frequency of love. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go into a little bit of frequency and sound. When I say the word remember, what I'm meaning is this is the body, but also this is the body. We're one body. We're one. This is one. And remembering, we can remind, but we can also remember, come into union with God, and actually do the epigenetics, change this, shift this, and then shift that. And it's automatic. Who's ready for new patterns that are God patterns?
Yeah.
I mean, anybody been circling that mountain and being like, you again? Oh my God, I thought we were done with this. Like negative, maybe every time you go eat, you get the wrong thing. Or every time you pay a bill, something happens. Or you finally get the money, but then this, those kind of things. The car keeps breaking down. All this stuff, health issues, We can switch that, and it's very easy, believe it or not, once we know the formula. Most of this, what I got, was in a dream. Gary's big into that. It was over 2 or 3 different dreams, and then I was contacted by a publicist to be able to have this done in order to have it for convention, and I had to have it done in 3 months. But in the 3-month time, there was about a 9-week period where I was going to be home, and then from that point on, I was pretty much gone for the rest of that 3 months. And I said, so basically, you're telling me I need to have this in 9 weeks or less, or 6 weeks or less. You need me to write a book in 6 weeks, and also I have a practice. I have like 5 kids. I got stuff in, dogs. I'm a foster mom. Like, tell me when I'm going to write this book. And then she came back and she was like, oh, actually, it's going to be more like 3 weeks. Can you do it in 3 weeks? And my initial was like, no. And then I walked away after my hang-up. I went back to my room, and I literally thought about the timeline and the formulas that were given to me. And I go, look at me. I'm basically saying no when I have everything I need. I can totally do this. Otherwise, I'm not miraculous. That's the definition of being a miracle, right?
Yes.
So I called back and I go, look, I'm not big into committing to doing things because my word is my word. My word is like everything. If I say something, you're going to put money on it. But I will say, I will give myself permission and the opportunity to see if this is even possible for me to do in 3 weeks. Okay? Can we agree on that? She's like, yeah. So the next day I woke up and I started writing, and I told myself, I'm just going to do 1 chapter. And then I'm going to see if I can just keep doing that like every day for 3 weeks and see where it goes. But I started about 6 or 7. I kept going. By I think 11 o'clock, I was on like chapter 5. And then by 4 o'clock, I had an appointment, but I was on chapter 11 or 12. And I called the people and said, can we rearrange? The book was finished, and 2 hours after that, I sent it to the publicist, and they were like, oh my God, you did this in like a few hours. And I'm telling you, this is like, I had to go back and read it. That's how much I didn't even know what was in it. And it was just like, let me read my book again and see what I put, because it was not my words. It was all just literally spirit talking. So we're going to go into that. Okay, so I have to do this next slide. I guess I should have said that first. Oh, I got to click it, right? I'm a clicker person? Yep. What am I clicked the green one? Do I point it anywhere? So, do I have to read it out loud? Like, can you guys read? We're in Louisiana, right?
So, which way is she going with that?
Opinions expressed in this presentation are solely my own-ish. And do not express the views or opinions of these guys back there. Young Living does not endorse this or is not responsible for no representations or warranties regarding the content of its act. We encourage you to verify these explanations. For sure, do your research. Any opinions presented in Young Living should not be liable for any harm resulting from this or any connection with me or any of this stuff. So there we go. We did it. All right. This is my hubby, Brian. We were high school sweethearts and college sweethearts, had a little detour, and came back around, and we've been married. We were together 5 years the first time, had a little recess, a little 25-year recess. And then when I started getting this stuff with, I had a health crisis, and then started having these dreams and started doing what's in the book. Literally, he called me, and we're back together, and very much in love, and he's the person I was supposed to be with the whole time, and I can't even, I'm gonna cry. He's amazing, he's like everything. So there's that, and we had a hot date last night, and flowers and everything, and it's like so cute. This is my family. Okay, so I got a lot of girls and one little boy smiling there, and then in the back I got Austin, who just came home from Afghanistan, and he is going to be home as soon as I leave out of here. I'm going to see him. Okay, he's my son-in-law, but he just finished his 2nd tour in Afghanistan, and they're stationed in Seattle. And I said I would never marry a military man because I grew up military with my dad, and I ended up having a daughter marry a military man. So there you go. So, But he has lived across the street from us in my husband's old house. Isn't that weird? And my daughter and him grew up together since they were 10 years old. They were best friends, and they got married. And isn't that insane?
That's a sweet story.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, God's cool. So, all right. So we're going to talk about beliefs, the electric biofield, the limbic emotional, and I already said all that. So, the heart is the most electric generator of anything in your body. Everyone, a lot of times, thinks that the thoughts are the thing, and I'm telling you, thoughts do create things, but the waves of your heart are far exceed, I think it's 6,000 times, or is it 60,000 times? You guys can Google that, John, but check it out. What I mean by the generator is there's waves that literally come out of your heart, depending on what you're feeling. And what you're thinking will come out of your brain, and what you're talking about will come out of your mouth. Everything matters, meaning matters, like manifests, literally matters. Not like, oh, that's cool, but I mean matters. So you have to be careful with a conscious language. You gotta be thinking what you're thinking about. You gotta be thinking what you're feeling about, because we're literally creating, and we're putting that all in this biofield. Each of us have a biofield. Well, actually, I'm getting into myself. But I worked in cardiac rehab during my little figuring out what I'm doing with my life thing. Got out of college, worked in cardiac rehab, and also worked in a psych ward for people with eating disorders. And then it moved into ministry. So it was a really good training for ministry, to be in the psych ward for a little bit. And really just life. I think everyone should work in a psych ward just a little bit to kind of get a little better handle of life. But when we would go to surgery, I never performed surgery as an intern, but I was an observer, and I could see outside the window or watch above like they do on New Amsterdam. Yeah, watching. And you could see the electric current of the heart, and the surgeons would talk about that. And that just kind of like sat in my mind for a little bit, and then fast forward, when I was really starting to understand frequency sound, which is basically the same thing, then I'm like, oh my God, it's a current, it's light, it's frequency, it's a megahertz. There's waves that come from that. So this is your, I'm a good drawer. This is one of my best drawings ever. But if you can imagine, like Pigpen, anyone peanut fans? All right. Anybody remember, like, who's the dude with the blanket? And he was walking around.
Linus.
He had like this big puff everywhere. He would just like carry all this down. Kind of like Winnie the Pooh too, the donkey. I mean, God help him. Right? Everything stops. You know, but this biofield is a positive one, right? So this person, see the little dot? That means thinking, okay, just in case. That's not translated very well on my drawing, but so if you're thinking about love, joy, peace, provision, truth, imagine that those are all literal positives, like a +1 for everything. I don't know what the exact frequency of love is. I know love is the highest frequency, but I didn't put a megahertz on it. We're just going to say 1 for the sake of the formula. And then that goes into the biofield, because the heart right here is pumping out that sound, that code, right? And then it's going out, but also on the outside you see that it's not just going out, but it's also a magnet. So you start magnetizing all the positive things to your life. Like, oh my God, everything's good. It's happening to me everywhere I go. People are just so nice. Oh my gosh, stuff just keeps happening. It's so cool. Oh my gosh, I just met another cool person. Did you hear that? Oh, it's synchronicity. All these things. This person knows that person. Anyone have those kind of days? Usually it starts out because you walk into the biofield and start moving into the biofield first. And then you start collecting the cool things. It's not just like a mishap. You didn't wake up grumpy and collect happy people. You wake up grumpy and you get
More grumpy.
grumpy people. That's not what I was going to say, but I'll just say that. So negative, right? So same, opposite. They're all negative. Fear, lack, sad, lies, depression. And we can have like a divided dual thing. And by the way, depression is the opposite of expression. When we have any kind of trauma or anything negative going on, I'm not saying just pretend it ain't there, because that's the worst thing you could do. That's how it gets stored in the body, is if you just like deny and go, oh, but I'm supposed to be so happy because Dr. Sharnael told me. I'm not telling you that. I'm saying feel the hell out of it. Like, look it straight in the eye, whatever the thing is, and cry. Like, tears specifically are one of the main ways to detox. And there's some things you could do, all the cleanses, all the oils, all the stuff, and you will not detox some things except only through tears. And yet, well, when I was growing up, I was told, don't cry, I'm going to give you something to cry about. You know, I would be like super sad about something, and I wasn't supposed to cry. You know, boys aren't supposed to cry. My mom did tell me that. By the way, my mom's here. Right here. She's a diamond. She just blame everything on her. No, my dad was military, and you know, I can see now, being a mom, that when the kids cry, like, you feel helpless sometimes, and you're just like, stop, you know, because then I feel better. But it doesn't make it better. If we can get down with ourselves and with our kids and go, what's going on? Let's talk about it. Now, let's not talk about it 20 years later, still, because you didn't make cheerleader, and you're just horrified. There's a problem. And I'm not exactly excited about talk therapy either, because you know, every time you talk about your trauma, your limbic system can't tell the difference between whether it's happening or not. And so it stimulates all the stuff in your body to go, this is happening again, oh my God. And you go into all the chemicals of that. And so you don't give your body a rest. So I'm not saying, there's got to be a balance. Like, have people that you love that will only see you already in victory. And talk to those people. And you know what was cool is I have like some people, Carolyn's here, and Crystal and Malia, and some of y'all, Jeannie, like Olivia. I got people like, I call Caroline and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. She'll say, cancel clear, you better change your attitude. You know, like she calls me out because, and I will do the same thing to her, because we know that that's not the highest. You know, she won't say, don't cry. She'll say, feel your feelings and then get over it. She's like me. But only talk to those people. If you go talk to someone who is just going to go, oh, I'm so sad. Yeah, that guy's a real jerk. And blah, blah, blah. And then you just build it and build it and build it and build it. The biofield gets bigger. You just start collecting more and more and more and more of what you actually don't want, because everything you resist, you get more of. Everything you resist, you get more of. When you deny your feelings, when you repress, oppress, suppress, guess where it goes? In your organs, in your blood, in your memory. It stores there sometimes a week, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes a decade. But then what happens is it shows up in your body with symptoms and signals. And then you're like, I don't know why my knee, I don't know why my thyroid. And we're not taught to look at the thyroid and go, well, this is just a signal that this is time for me to voice my choice and express myself and to deal with whatever was stored there. They don't teach that in school. At least not any school I went to. Did y'all learn that? But it's a message. It's God using other people in other situations to mirror things back to us so we're triggered. And if we have the perception that this is a gift, thank you, this is still in me, I didn't even remember this, and then transmute it by walking yourself out and moving and just giving yourself permission to cry and go, God, that really sucked when that happened, and I'm so sad, and I'm okay. And then get your cypress and your forgiveness and your acceptance and your release and your inner child and all the things that help you process that. Cypress is number one to get that gunk out. Do it. So, and then that's going to clear the biofield. So, opposite of depression is what?
Expression.
Yeah, you're listening. I like it. Okay, expression and creativity. So, only voice your choice. Oh, let me go back. If I hit the red thing, I'll go back. Yeah. Okay, no, yes. So, one thing I do want to say too, well, maybe it's in the next one. Okay, judgment, so examples, okay, judgment's a biggie. Judgment is actually kind of subtle. I'll give you an example. Like, my husband and I were driving in a city where we didn't know we were, and we were supposed to be somewhere, and I should have left if I had taken the time management thing from earlier. I'd probably be better with my time. But I'm usually like, if I'm not 5 minutes early, that's late to me. That's just to me, and that's my personality. And so I didn't give myself enough time to get to a place I've never been before, and I was a little bit late, and we didn't have the good directions. And anyone ever had a GPS take you the whole wrong place, and you're like, what's happening? And so I'm calling the people to say, hey, heads up, we're going to be a little bit late. And I look at Brian, there's like no signs in the city to get like, saying turn on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, there is no blah, blah, blah. We went down 5 streets without a street sign. Which one is the blah, blah, blah? So I say to him, well, you think that a city like this would have signs, then we wouldn't be late. And as soon as I said that, I thought to myself, oh my God, I just judged. And I mean, it's really subtle, and it's actually factual that the city should probably have some signs, but also it's a judgment, because basically it'll say, if I ran this city, I would make sure I would have the best signs, because that's how I roll. But those guys suck and don't do good signs or even any signs. So I was putting myself like higher. When, who knows, they could have a storm the day before and knock all the signs down. Or maybe like, who knows what happens, and something happened and, but here's me, like, I know everything about this city. I don't have good signs. I was in charge. So judgment can be super subtle. And it's getting quicker, if you notice, like, you want to say karma, so I'm reaping, however you want to call it. Whatever you put out, you get. So immediately I was judged about something else, unless you cancel clear it. And when I say cancel, I mean just physically go cancel and then clear the biofield. You don't even have to like get sage out, although that's cool. Sage and distill. But you can just say cancel clear, and my kids cancel clear all day. Like I go walk into places and this lady's like, oh my God, and then I was died, cancel, and she'll just go on, and then I'll walk away, and my kids are like, you were cancel clearing the whole thing, weren't you? You were just totally cancel clearing in there. But I do it in my mind for everybody who's not there yet. But so when I looked at Proverbs 4:23, it says, guard your heart, for from it flows the springs or the outgoing source. Now, when I learned that scripture, I learned guard your heart, for it's the wellspring of life. And like in my mind, this is my picture.
Right.
Everybody get back. I got walls up. I'm gonna guard my heart. I gotta put it in a box, in a jail, a prison, whatever. Like, don't touch me, don't get me, please don't come after me, don't attack me. I gotta guard this. And I don't know if that was just my made-up thing because of my victim story at the time, but that word doesn't even mean that. That word guard, if you look up in the Greek and the Hebrew, it means to observe and be aware of. Be aware of your heart, because it's the wellspring of life. Wow. It's the source, that code that's going out, that will give you a match, because whatever you are, you get a match. Whatever you can only get what you are. So when you feel victim, or feel fear, or depression, or negativity, or anger, or judgment, and you put that in your heart, or think about it, or talk about it, and this can be amplified by doing all of it. This goes out in the biofield, and then guess what happens? You get a match. And you start getting more patterns to build up your story of how negative life is. More bad things will start happening to you, more bad things will start happening to you, until you wake up and go, oh, I'm doing this. Me. I'm the one that made it happen. Because the signal will get big, trust me. Because God loves us so much that he wants us to wake up and realize that we're creators. Go figure. Do you believe God's a creator?
Yes.
Where's God? Kingdom of God, right here. Creating. With the heart. Not guard the heart, but what's going on down there? Be aware of the heart. What am I putting out? Because he knows the laws. Whatever you put out, you're going to get back. And he loves us so much. He's like, I really want you guys to be aware. Please be aware. Wake up. Think about what you're thinking. Think about what you're feeling. Think about what you're talking about. Pay attention. Be aware. Because I don't want bad stuff to happen to you. Because he loves us. God loves us. Judge and you'll be judged. You only get what you are. Energy is literal. You can say, oh, I was just kidding. It's a joke. I didn't mean to say that. Your subconscious is not kidding. Your subconscious hears everything your thoughts say, everything your heart feels, and everything your mouth says. And it's like on a computer, you're writing a big old thing, and then you actually hit the delete button and like lose your whole 13 chapter book. The computer doesn't go, she was just joking. It was an accident. It's going to do exactly what you said. So you say it will follow through. I went through a major health crisis where twice, one when Gary completely took me into Ecuador and black mold, and I came home and I did chemo and blah, 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 and like 4 weeks later, like literally saved me. And then here lately, because of some things that were going on and some things that I was miscreating, found myself in a cancer crisis. And when I went and talked to somebody, their response was, well, are you saying things like, I'm done with this, I'm over it, I can't do this anymore, cancel clear? I was like, 5 million times a day. Your subconscious goes, okay. And it starts working towards that. Saying things like, it's hard, cancel clear, actually creates tumors. And how about, this is fun and easy, this is freaking awesome. Like, I enjoy the opportunities that I have to do blah, 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 blah. Like, spin it. And someone has said, well, oh my gosh, but I don't want to lie. I want to be able to talk freely. I should be able to express myself. It's like, okay, well, can you say, if you're dealing with something up here physically, and let's say, inflammation, blah, 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 whatever, and pain, you can just walk into a room and go, I am so excited to have ease in my head right now. Right now, I'm so enjoying ease in my head. Everyone knows what's going on, but now the last thing on their mind is that you have ease in your head. And they're collectively coming into agreement with that. They know what's going on, but you didn't say the other thing, so your subconscious could go, okay, and reinforce that. So, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So, this is what I was talking about alignment. So, let's just use the example of provision. On provision, let's say that's a positive in the heart, positive in the mind, positive in the talk. 1 + 1 + 1 = 3, which is actually 1 to the 3rd power. Then when you're in alignment like with this, that's where miracles happen. And you may have this agreeing to that, but the heart's really afraid because something happened like 2 years ago, and you're like, I don't want to be with it anymore. But your mind's like, but I gotta be positive, and then your mouth's like, I want to be positive. And so there's not a full alignment. So this is where we get what I call mixed energy, split energy, dual-minded, and there's a scripture here. I'm using all scriptures, so whatever. James 1:6. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt. The one who doubts is like a wave being tossed by the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect from God. Such a person is double-minded, and their loyalty is divided between God and the world. Wow. So we got a lot of pluses, but we also got some minuses, and your body's just going, I don't know what to do. You cancel each other out, like the negatives and the positives sort of and you're stuck in energetic purgatory. All day long. You can do that all day long. But I'm positive, down, and I'm up, no, but I got this thing, and I'm off on my meds, isn't that great, but my boyfriend, blah, 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 and I'll never be married, blah, blah. Cancel. Or we can just again, I'm not saying when stuff comes up that we're just blinders, this isn't happening, I gotta be so positive. I'm saying accept, deal, get your acceptance on, get your cypress, inner child, love, joy. That joy oil actually was called love at one time. Guess what Gary was going to call it? You want to really step into the frequency of the love, joy oil. And for the longest time, I could not wear it. It would make me have problems with my ease in my head. And I was like, this sounds so sucky that when I'm going to go teach in places, I have to tell them beforehand, no one wear joy. Can you please make an announcement? No joy, because I don't want to be in the emergency room. I'm like, oh, she's the minister that doesn't like joy. But yeah, I had a big, huge emotional release with joy. And now I can drink it, bathe in it, whatever. But there was something that was triggering me from a 13-year-old situation that happened that I had no idea. But God was just let me get bigger, let me get louder, let me get bigger. This can be fun. She's going to get it. She's going to hear me. And then she's going to deal with it. It's going to be God. Yay! And it was. So, consciousness of energy. Why is social media and the news such a big opportunity to be either really negative or really positive? The biggest way to get everyone programmed, notice the word, programmed. Yeah, there's a reason why it's called programming. Because they are going to decide what we think and what we feel and what we talk about. If you put something tragic on and everyone can come into union of that, how do you think that affects the biofield of the planet? By the way, the Earth has a biofield. It's called the Schumann resonance. You can get the app, you can test it every day and see what it is, the different things affect it, solar flares and things in the galaxy, and when that happens, it affects everything that has a human, or not even human, it has a life force, plants, people, whatever. The biofield of the Earth is supposed to be 7.83. We have had spikes in the 150s for sometimes 5 days straight here lately. So if you felt like you're about to go crazy, or totally crying, or totally angry, or all kinds of crime went up, or different things, then that's whenever you can go look at the Schumann and go, oh, because it's been 150 for 4 days straight. No wonder I feel crazy. And all the electrics go crazy. You know, that happens when there's anything going on in the galaxies. And it can happen when things like 9/11, they had generators all over that were testing the Schumann. Guess what? The Schumann spiked. Diana's wedding, Diana's funeral. The first thing was the OJ. That's the first thing. Because you think about it, OJ, when that thing happened, it's the first time everyone collectively watched TV and sat there and watched that car drive around going, what's going to happen? Oh my God, this is crazy. This is awesome. Everyone was so excited. The whole earth literally shifted. But that's really probably one of the first times when media was used to watch something live and we all could engage in our minds and our feelings and our mouth and talk about it. Now, I don't think Facebook was around too much then, or some of those things. But now that we have Facebook, we don't even need the news, although the news is the news. Because statistically, anything negative that's on the news gets more ratings because they know that the frequency of the earth has a negative spin, so they're like, well, let's just keep feeding that because we need money and all the things, and that's what pays. And also everyone will stay in fear, division, whatever, all the politics of division, all the, white, black, everything. I mean, all the things. Poverty, everyone will be scared all the time. Everyone will worry about children being abducted and raped and all the bad things. Like everyone, if everyone just think of that all the time. And then in case you didn't get it the first 10 times we played, let's play it another 10 times. So you will really get it in your body. And then you can resonate that and have negative patterns. That is whether it's on purpose or it's not, we got to be careful about what we're posting. So even, social media, you got 300 friends on Facebook and you post something stupid, 300 friends now will come into agreement with your stupidity and your negativity. And now they're all thinking about it, talking about it, sharing it, and guess what? You just blew out your biofield and everybody else's to negative. And then you're going to be surprised when more crap starts happening to you that's bad. Oh my God, you just literally created more. So, but we can use it positive. We can be like, hey, this oil, blah, blah, blah. Hey, health, whatever. Hey, the real news. That's what's kind of cool is like, some people freaking out because we got YouTube now. We got social media. We got like independent channels that are coming up and actually can present the real facts of what's happening. Now, will everyone will believe it? I don't know, but at least we have multiple sources where we can actually go and get real live information that isn't a big lie, right? And you guys can all do that with what you're doing. We can spread natural health and real truth about health, not the pharma stuff with all the commercials about like, take this depression medicine, sideline, you may have suicidal thoughts, you could be depressed, okay, blah, blah, blah. That is not only crazy, but on a brain level, it brings confusion because subconsciously you hear that and you read the bottom and it's like, that's the opposite of what we're supposed to be. And when you're in a confused state, that is when they can come in with a program and the solution, and it gets solidified because you're in a confused, the brain waves are just there to collect and be programmed. Definitely at night. I've been studying a lot of this, and at night when these commercials are going to sleep to them, John, you are programming yourself. So we can be examples of victory. Here's another thing. You post, and I've seen this, and no judgment, but people who post like they're a really sick person in the hospital with all the tubes coming out, and they go, oh my gosh, pray for blah, 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 because look how terrible and pitiful he looks, and everyone just say some prayers. And then everyone comes into agreement with that image. The word image or imagination comes from imagination. When we image, that's the last thing on the screen. That's what goes into the subconscious. And the subconscious holds that space for that image. Guess what happens? It's in your biofield now. And you've now held that person to that image. Instead, what can we do? We can post a vibrant, healthy picture of our loved one and go, please vote victory for brother so-and-so. I see him in optimum health now. I see him vitalized. I see him thriving. I see love. I'm so happy to hear that so-and-so is doing great. Look how great he looks. And not necessarily lying, but just you could say it in words, please vote victory, or please prayers, or send good vibes to Joe, who, whatever. Because then they're connected to the victory of it, the outcome that's positive, they're already seeing him whole. Does that make sense? So limbic system, we talked about, can't tell the difference between imagination or real. So even when we're watching those dumb TV shows or movies, the scary stuff, whatever, Dateline, I was like a Dateline freak. I had to completely back off from that because I realized I was getting abused, literally. And I couldn't figure out why. Well, maybe because I was participating in abuse shows on a regular. I was tired of being a victim. And it shifted, believe me. When I got the concept and I started remembering my sovereignty, I'm like, only God touches me, bro. So there we go. Let's see. Okay, this just goes into separation is an illusion. We're all one. Do not be deceived. God will not be mocked. You will reap what you sow. Other people call it karma. When I post anything like scriptures, I'm looking at it as a quantum physics thing. I'm not picking a religion. I'm not into religion. I'm just using everything as quantum physics. And I actually encourage you to look at the Greek and Hebrew because I haven't found a translation that is right. Just saying. All right, this is the fun part. Ready to learn how to do it? God, you're so happy.
Woo!
No one in here wants to change your patterns. This is the big stuff right here, okay? So we look at, I don't have like a zoomer, whatever, but look at A. This is us, presence. We're A, okay? We're A, and we have been programmed to look to the future, B. Let's say it's like make the rank, or make cheerleader, or even baby, little kids, like be the sports person, or make the grade, or all the way up, we're taught to get to the B, right? Get to the B, get to the B, get to the B, get to the B, get to the B. Well, getting to the B by definition is you're not at B. Mm-hmm. What's that energy? Not in it, you're split. You're stuck in purgatory because you're getting to the B forever, as long as you want. So what we can do is, and what happens is, A, if we're in the present, and we're choosing to get to B, there's a thing called an offering wave where our energy goes towards I really like to be in the B. But then this echo wave comes back and it looks to see where is she really at? Where is he really at? Now the negative A is the past. The negative A is, well, but that one time I tried, remember that didn't work out too good. Or remember last time when I went on that trip and did the thing, I got sick for 2 weeks. So I probably shouldn't do the B because I don't want to be sick. Cancel. Or maybe it's not even you. It could be well, remember when Grandpa tried to start his own business? That didn't go good for him. So it could be something that you visually saw and were exposed to growing up, or it could be something that you actually experienced yourself. And here's the kicker. It could be something you've never seen, but your DNA has. You have the DNA of all the people back to Adam. So it can look at your DNA and go, yeah, but that fifth generation back had a terrible lack issue and disease issue. So therefore, we're going to stick out in the negative A. And so when you're trying, anything is purgatory. Trying, getting, hoping, wishing. When we are A, trying to get to B, the offering goes out, the echo waves go back and says, there's anything in her generation that would slow her down from this? Is there anything in her thought process? Anything in her subconscious? Anything going on there? And then what happens is, when we try to go back out, it actually won't hit B. It may not even hit A. You're just gonna take like a step, right? Then down here on number 2, you're A. Now let's say you're way past B. B already happened. I mean, not literally, but in your mind you go, well, now that I'm already at B. Now mind you, B hasn't happened, but in your imagination, in your imagination, you're saying, well, now that B is already here, how do I feel? What am I thinking? What's new and different? What am I doing? Well, now that I'm a Royal Crown Diamond, I am traveling. I'm seeing tons of people get healed. I'm getting phone calls from people going, oh my gosh, thank you for helping me. I'm in a new car. I'm paid off my house. And you start making those lists and imaging the C, D, E, F, G going out as far as you can with specificity. So that offering wave is going way past the B. And you can even say, well, now that I'm traveling, what's new and different? Well, I'm meeting all these great people. Well, now that you're meeting all these great people, what are you doing? Well, I'm getting all these testimonies. Well, what happens when you have testimonies? Well, families are healed, and then they're multiplying, and they're talking to more people, and more people, and more people, and then what happens? Well, our world is different. Our world is truth and love and healing. And you just keep going, 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 right? Well, that echo wave, that's the offer wave. The echo wave comes back to the negative A and goes, yeah, she's got a little, but we're going to land her like maybe at B. And you kind of hit your potential to at least get B, because there wasn't there was so much in the positive. You guys took math, right? So it's like saying 1 plus 7, or wait, negative 1 plus 7? Yes, negative 1 plus 7. You'll come back to like a negative 6, right? But you can keep going. No? Yes? Positive 6. There you go. Thank you. Lady in the math lady. So, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, think of it like on math terms or code, because this is all code, right? So now, on number 3, we can get rid of the negative A. How do we get rid of the negative A? Well, you, first of all, do what I said before, where anything that comes up, you look at it and go, I'm going to feel the hell out of this. I'm going to accept that this is where I am right now. And if I'm in Starbucks in front of everyone, maybe I won't do it in front of everyone, but I'll go to my car and cry for an hour, because this is what's happening. Now, don't be an emotional wreck or weird. Well, I'm just saying, like, give yourself permission to feel. Feeling is Trump. And if you deny it and push it down, it comes back in signals, whether it's sickness, dis-ease, or, patterns. So feel your stuff, because what happens when we feel it, when we can acknowledge it, has anyone ever been in a situation where you had like a friend who did something really crappy to you, and it was so wrong, and you just got so betrayed, and you gave them the benefit of the doubt, and you're like, I don't know if they did it on purpose, but this still is real. I'm going to go talk to him. You get the guts to go talk to him, and you sit down and you go, hey, when that thing happened, I was really hurt by that. You really upset me. And the person has the choice to either go like, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to, or oh yeah, I meant to, but I should have done that. Or they could just go, I don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. Bye. Okay, now, let's say you got to be around that person over and over and over again. Let's say it's a person sits next to you at work. Let's say it's a family member that you got to do Christmas with. That sucks, because everyone's got to be like, oh, this is so fun, and I'm having a great time. And inside you're going, I'm just so sad that this person's such a bee and won't own up to her stuff, right? That's exactly what your feelings are saying to you. Freaking acknowledge me. I've been here. You won't even pay attention. You won't even look at me. You won't even acknowledge. You won't even give me a minute to release. I don't like that word, but transmute. Your feelings are like knocking on the door. Anybody? Amen. And you're just like, nobody's home. I have a dinner to go to. I have to put on my happy face. You know? And that feeling goes down further and further and further and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And you know what? If you don't acknowledge it, it doesn't make it go away. It actually gets so big and comes out in all the ways, and there's still a code to it. There's still a sound, there's still source code to that. So it comes out in your biofield, and you will get more things of the same people doing the same thing to you, because it'll keep coming back until you can acknowledge, this is just me doing this. Everything's a mirror. I'm the one creating it. If I would just look at my stuff and accept my whatever, my judgment, my lies, my whatever, all the things, and it would vanish. It would just transmute. And you know what happens when it collapses? Once you look at it and go, you know what? I hate this situation. I hate this person. I mean, we're taught in Christianity not to hate. And I went through this thing where I was like, I was so mad, and I had to look at myself and go like, what is this thing I'm feeling? Oh, it's hate. And I was like, oh, that's bad. I can't hate because I'm a Christian. I was like, no. I was like, no, I'm giving myself permission to hate. I hate this person. I can't stand this person. This person did this to me again and again and again. I'm so cancel, not over it, but I'm just done with this. Oh, I did it again. Cancel, clear. And someone called me right then and was like, are you good? Is everything okay? And I was like, no. I hate this person. Or you're going to have to be at this thing. I know, and I hate that I got to go there, and I hate that. I'm going to call you back. It sounds like you're having a bad day. No, I feel great. Because I just said it out loud. For like the first time I expressed it. I accepted it. I'm real. Well, how long are you going to do that? I don't know, as long as I need to. And I felt so liberated and just like, woohoo, because I realized like, God hates stuff. He hated stuff. It's in the Bible. Like, why wouldn't we hate stuff? God is love, and that was like messing with me. I'm like, well, God is love. He wouldn't hate. Yeah, he hates stuff. He still hates stuff. And so what happened is I literally looked at that hate. I felt it. I gave myself permission. It took about 2 or 3 days. And then I broke down into tears because under that hate was actually big time pain and hurt. And I just sobbed and I cried. And then all of a sudden, this person contacted me and was like, hey, I am so sorry that I did that. How can I make this up to you? Let me fix it. And when that happened, I knew I transmuted the hate. What happens when you transmute the hate? It collapses. It's gone. And what happens then? You get more space for God. Whether you believe in God or not, he believes in you. And God is the universe, God, the creator, you can call whatever, Mother Earth, whatever you want to call. There's something bigger than what we are, for sure. So how can we get rid of the negative A? One, we can accept where we are. We can deal with epigenetics as far as our DNA. There's things that we can do to change the DNA. If it isn't our subconscious, then it may be a generation thing. We can do all that. How do we do that? Discipline is a big one. Being aware of what we're thinking, being aware of what we're feeling and what we're talking about. The word disciple comes from discipline for a reason. Be very aware. Just like guard your heart, guard your mouth, pay attention. I walked around my house one day and I heard, what are you thinking? And I was like, I was thinking about like Sandra Bullock and that guy that she was married to and they got a divorce. I was like, super important things to be thinking about. And then I got this picture of me standing in the kitchen with one of those spaghetti things on my head, and it had Philippians 4:6, I think it was. I have to look it up, but it says, I had to look it up, and it was like, whatever is beautiful, whatever is awesome, whatever is good news, whatever, think on these things. And it was like, I had to have this new filter that only anything that came out of here was going to be positive, whatever. So then I go in my room, the news is on, I'm watching, and I hear, what are you thinking? And I'm like, about the bad news, or about the news, and I heard, Is that good news? It's like, no. So I just got Post-its and I put them all over my house. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Because I realized I didn't even know what I was thinking. Most of it was just autopilot. I had them in my car and in the bathroom and on the sink and like everywhere. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? I would catch myself all day long going, what am I thinking? Oh, I'm thinking stupid stuff again. Oh, shoot. Stop that. And I would change it into a positive or like replace it. That's a big thing. Not just deny it, but replace it. Replace it with something cool. Like, everyone loves me. Miracles happen everywhere I go. I ignite Christ in everyone I contact. Only God touches me. God is the only power presence acting here. Miracles happen to me every day. I magnetize miracles all the time. Prosperity is my portion. I'm abundant. All those things. Anchors is another thing. You can have like an image or an oil or something and magnitude, anchor it with the thoughts that you choose or the feeling that you choose. Put the oil on and then repeat whatever decree or do whatever you're doing. Like, it helps as like an anchor. So then every time you see that oil or every time you smell it or whatever you think, I believe, believe is my favorite. Believe and envision are my top, like for sure. So here are a lot of oils and their frequency. Idaho Blue Spruce is on here. That's 580, and that's not true. It's never been tested. You will hear all over the place that it has been. Gary never tested it because Bruce is the guy who tested it with Gary, and Bruce passed away years before all of this. And then Gary, because there's so much electrical stuff on the earth now, we would have to like go super deep in the ground to get a non-biased electrical current to be able to test a real thing for our baseline. So it wasn't tested, it's just a rumor. But all of these are really good. This is going to bring frequency up. I love awaken. I love motivation. I mean, our frequency is 67 on an average healthy day for an adult. And so automatically you just put on this frequency and what are you going to do? Animals are really good too. If anyone like animal, I'm a foster mom for kittens for a reason. Kittens are like high vibe. They purr at 157 megahertz. Horses' biofield are 350 feet wide. That's why when you pull up 2 miles away, the horse already knows. The dog knows. Like, they're on it. They hear things we don't hear. Dolphins can hear at the level we think. Dolphins are the highest frequency animal on the planet. I believe they're ETs. It's a different story, but they're less accessible as horses as far as healing, but they're literally doing studies where they're putting people in with dolphins and people are getting healed cancer. Animal therapy. So, but oils, animals. So this is I had to remove what was written on there, so I won't say it, but it rhymes with iofield. I'll do the motions. It's this thing that rhymes with iofield. But this is what I love. I love any of these. But by the way, if you've read Healing Oils of the Bible, you'll find out there's scientific proof in there, and you can see all the sites and mentions of the science that these are not only electric, but they also go down to the cellular level, which change the DNA, and also they stay in the biofield. So whatever you put on your body actually is in your biofield, like you're a walking, radiant frequency machine, diffusing, and you're also like bringing up everyone's frequency, like Peter's shadow, bam, 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 bam. Woo-hoo, right? Anybody ever experienced that? Some people, the thing about oils is either people don't like the smell because they're triggered, because usually what they don't like is what they need, and then the opposite. So the first time I met Gary, we went up to the hotel when they were at the front desk, and I had just walked up there, and the guy was like, oh my God, what stinks? This is terrible. This is such a, oh my God, I'm gonna be sick right now. It stinks so bad. And we were just looking at each other like, he really needs this. I think I had on the valerian, which some people say smells like socks, but I love. And then we went to go to like a little Walmart or something, pick up some stuff, and we walk up and the cashier person was like, oh my God, it smells so amazing. What do you have on? And it was the total opposite. So I was just like, people are so funny. But But I like to take all of these and put them on my body and then layer it with this. Trees will ground it and layer it and anchor it and keep, hold it in. And so it's not an amplifier, but it's, well-ish. Peppermint is a big amplifier, myrrh is a big amplifier, but any trees are going to ground and hold what you've already put in your body. Now, if you're using a carrier, they're not going to go to the cells. Carrier's too fat to get to the cells. So I put everything neat. I think I've used a carrier like a couple times, but I like it straight. I want the whole thing right in my cells. Dip it in, and drink you, and put you on my feet, and my hands in my head where the pores are most open, and I'll put it right up here. I'm not even joking. So that's all. I'm just going to rhyme that because I'm not allowed to say it. But what I said was right up here. So sage and white angelica, as we know, it clears the IO field. I didn't say it. Every day, all the time. Of course, you can do it in your house if people are coming over, or even if they're not. If you got a kid, sage. Think like a proton, always be positive. So I got a couple specials. This is me at 220. I got the main kit, and when I went back to test with Dr. Lucky, I had 2.5 traumas in my body after just getting the kit. I used it for 16 weeks. And then I had some other stuff happen, multiple miscarriages and stuff like that, and kind of put on all my weight back. So I went back to the feelings kit this time to get at the real source, and I actually went keto. And I have a book on keto with going into the supplements and essential oils and all the things to do keto, and I also have a membership group. We work with hundreds now, almost 1,000 people who have dropped like 70 pounds, 80 pounds, 100 pounds, whatever. But, released, transmuted, you can't say lost weight. But anyway, so this is Keto Reset. This just came out. Sugar is a biggie. Sugar will mess up your DNA. If you're trying to get rid of the negative A, don't eat sugar. And don't eat sugar substitutes. Right now I'm doing a special just for the next 2 days. 34 on that. I'm heading back to right there, that beach moment. I also have a crystal class. Anybody into crystals? I thought it was like weird, just like I did with the oils at the beginning. I have a crystal class where I teach on how crystals and oils work together. There's 4 classes in there. It's a workshop. I jump in there every now and then. And then I also pair what crystals go with what oils and why, because there's certain things that work better for different parts of the body. I actually just created, has anybody got one of these, the crystal? So basically we've tested, these are, how many cards? 80 cards. Oh, please open. Can you help me? It's a brand new pack. I'm going to give this away. But we tested, actually, with muscle testing. And if we do not have the crystal, we can test you, and you'll be just as strong by having the card. The card itself is enough. The image of the card will bring your frequency up as if you had the crystal in your hand. And these are all partnered with essential oils. It's the only thing on the market that pairs crystals and oils. Now, I had looked all over because I started trying to figure out, okay, crystals do this for the whatever system and this system, but oils do that too. So let's find a book that has both. And when people were asking me well, what crystal would you use? What oil would you use? And it's oh my gosh, there's no resources out there. So I started making a list, and then I would have this on this paper, so I would know, get this stone, get this crystal, and then get these oils for your whatever situation. And over time, I was I really got to get this out. So there's some really beautiful cards. On one side, there's the pictures. These are all personally my crystals, which I thought of after, and I'm oh my gosh, my own crystals are going to be in tons of homes all over the world. So I love on these guys. They're the High Vibe and my personal I took one for the team and bought them all for y'all. Trust me, this collection that I have is way more expensive than the $24 that you can get this on. But I'm going to be giving this away. Who has a birthday? Like today? Who's birthday today? Tuesday? Okay, what day is it? Ascension symptoms. Okay, so who's the closest birthday? Tuesday, Wednesday? This past Tuesday, both Tuesdays?
There's one Monday.
Monday. What time were you born? What? Oh my gosh, okay, both of y'all won, just come here. I'll get you another box. I'll get one of you a box. Someone want the book instead?
Yes.
She's like, I'll give you both a box. Like, we have some in the back. And then I gotta stop. So I don't have a table like I normally do, but I have the old school, like, remember those guys that would come knock at your door and they have suitcases full of crap that they would sell you? I'm that girl right now today. So,
Yes.
Olivia and Crystal, if you could raise your hands, and Caroline, I have 3 suitcases of these if anyone wants to learn how to get your miracles or go into keto or get the crystal stuff. But can you help me give these away? Who do you think?
Who do you think?
Like,
I saw him.
Just go.
okay, who just made a new rank, like, recently? What, like, how recent? January? A new rank. There you go. Which one? Miracle?
Yeah.
Has anybody thought about doing keto? Anybody? Okay, right here in the black shirt. And then the last slide, look, I'm giving away 5 Envisions. 5 bottles of Envision. Oh, there's my stuff right there. There's my website. Y'all take a screenshot of that. If you don't get it here, we run out. I don't have a whole lot because I have baby suitcases. That's it. So this is my website. It has the cards and all the stuff on it. Everyone got that? Yeah. Everybody. And then, so I'm going to do a thing. All you got to do is go to my Facebook right now. There's a video on there, and I have 4 steps where you can go into a chance to win a bottle of Envision. All you got to do is like follow the thing of like tag or share or I can't remember what it's called. Choose a remember. And then the crystal group is on sale and the keto group's on sale. And I love you.